But 80 years ago, the weather played an absolutely crucial role in D-Day. It determined whether it went ahead, when it took place, and really determined the success of it. And Matt Taylor has been investigating that.
Heading out to sea after a 24-hour delay because of the weather.
It was one of the most crucial weather forecasts of all time. The lives of more than 160,000 troops relied on it, and it could determine the outcome of the war.
Months and years of waiting were over.
In 1944, 3 forecast units, 2 British and 1 American, fed information back to Southwark House near Portsmouth. And it was this man, Group Captain James Stagg, responsible for advising the military.
It was really difficult to go into that room and see poor General Eisenhower with his head on one side and his just staring, waiting to hear what the forecast would be, because normally we had got accustomed to him being such a bright, sprightly man, going about with a broad grin as if he were almost a gymnastic instructor.
80 years ago, unlike today, there was very little technology available to help.
Our supercomputer today does 14,000 trillion calculations every second, and we feed millions upon millions of bits of data into that supercomputer every day as well. Back in Stagg's day, a handful of observations across the Atlantic, the pressure of forecasting even one day ahead, whereas now, these current circumstances, with the advances of technology, we can forecast several days ahead.
So, Catherine, what are these?
So these are the original weather maps from the D-Day period, and these take us through the 4th of June, where they were making the decision on whether they could invade on the 5th, and then the 5th of June when they were finding the weather window to invade on the 6th.
Now we know the American forecasters and Eisenhower wanted to go on the 5th. This is from the British Mess Office, isn't it?
Yes.
What did they spot that made them decide that, no, we shouldn't go on the 5th?
So if we have a look at the chart for the 5th, you'll see they got the forecast absolutely right, because there's a weather front sitting smack in the English Channel there, which brought all of those conditions that they were talking about. So, and so quite tight isobars as well, so it would have been very, very unpleasant conditions for trying to cross the Channel. But also, this weather chart, 1 o'clock in the morning on the 5th of June,
yes,
was the one that they used to try and to identify the weather window which would enable them to invade on the 6th. It was very marginal. It was just about good enough to go. Stagg, the forecaster, always knew it would be marginal, but it was really very marginal.
But in the end, that marginal forecast helped with the element surprise and a tactical success.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, the Germans had their own weather team. Mm-hmm. Did they not spot that as well?
They hadn't broken the Allied codes. So they've got literally half the amount of data that the Allied forecasters had.
So they didn't have the same information. They didn't think we were going to do it, did they?
They didn't think we were going to invade, no, because they didn't have that extra information.
Element surprise crucial, so in the end, it was the right decision.
I would say so, yes.
As it turned out, weather conditions on the 6th were worse than expected. Winds were stronger, tides higher. But at the next window for invasion, 2 weeks later, the English Channel experienced its worst storms in 20 years, which could have cost even more lives and more time. Matt Taylor, BBC News.
Absolutely fascinating look back there.